Here's a quick podcast for all you true crime fans. The case of the missing Reeses. It was me at the store with my mouth. Motive? They're Reeses. What was I going to do? Stop myself? Tune in next time to see if I do it again. Spoiler, I will. Wow, that had everything. Reeses, suspense, Reeses.
Having the right people in your corner for life's biggest milestones makes all the difference. Like a friend who's there when you're house hunting or checking out a new ride, State Farm is there too, helping you choose the coverage you need. With a State Farm agent, you know someone is there to help you along the way. And with so many coverage options, it's nice knowing you have help choosing a plan that fits your needs, so you can continue celebrating all of life's milestones. Head to statefarm.com to get a quote. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
I like things my way. My coffee, my schedule, and my treatment. So I talked to my doctor about self-injecting with the Vyvgart Hytrulo prefilled syringe, which contains Efgartigimod alpha and hyaluronidase QVFC. It's injected under your skin, subcutaneously. It means I can inject in my space, on my time. It's my treatment, my way. Visit VyvgartMyWay.com. That's VYVGART MyWay.com. And talk to your doctor about Vyvgart Hytrulo. Brought to you by argenx.
Hey weirdos, I'm Ash.
And I'm Alaina.
And this is Morbid.
It's morbid. We still sound a little bit like I've got like a Lindsay Lohan voice.
Yeah, I think I'm just a little dry. I don't sound too bad.
No, you don't. You really don't. And I probably don't sound as bad as I feel like I sound, but we're getting there. We're getting healthy, guys. So here we are.
I just can't laugh too hard or I'll laugh myself into a coughing fit.
That's the problem with this. I don't know if any of you guys, I feel like everybody has a cold right now.
They do.
We're just, all our immune systems are shit apparently at this point. But everyone I know has this cold. Everyone I know.
And everyone I know has had this cold because like, hi,
yes.
Hello, I've had this cold for a month.
Yeah, you need to see a doctor.
Yeah, like probably, but I don't have time for that.
But I can't do
There's
that.
like, where am I going to fit that into my
That's
day?
true. But it's important. Health is important.
It is. Health and wellness.
But I feel like it's this cough that like, it's a tickle that keeps happening.
Yes.
Like even right now, I can feel it creeping up and I'm like, no.
Hit the pause
Stay down
button.
there. Because I keep having to pause any like Zoom meeting we're doing or anything. I keep muting myself to just hack up a lung really
She
quick.
just like yeets to the corner to like
just to cough because I'm like, I'm sorry, everybody. But hopefully everybody's feeling good out there. I know some of you probably have this cold too, because I know people were like, me too.
Solidarity, brother.
Feel better, man. We feel for you. But before we get into our case, which is going to be a two-parter.
Oh.
Because I don't know how to be brief.
A two-parter after a two-parter.
This case is just wild. So before we get into that, I just want to quickly mention again our UK lovelies. You can get my book, The Butcher and the Wren. It's a fiction tale of a serial killer in New Orleans. It's crazy. There's a female medical examiner in it. You can get my book. You can pre-order it signed at Waterstones. So just go to the Waterstones book website, waterstones.com, and you can type in Butcher and the Wren. It'll come up. You can get it signed on pre-order. It's going to be out September 13th of this year. And if you are over here in the States, you can get, I always go Southern when I get back to the States. I don't know why. You can get the book on pre-order as well. You can get it at tinyurl.com/The Butcher and the Wren. That way you can get it from wherever you want to. Amazon, Target, indie bookstores, wherever you would like to do it. Barnes & Noble.
Question.
Answer.
If I wanted a signed copy and I didn't know you personally, could I order from Waterstones here as an Americano?
You sure can.
Cool.
And there will be more. I'll as we go, because the release of the book isn't actually being like published to hold in your hands until September 13th. So before then, there's going to be a lot more fun stuff happening. There's going to be opportunities to get books signed, but right now we don't have anything like set in stone. So there are signed copies at Waterstones right now, a bunch of them, and get your hands on them, guys.
Hell yeah. We also, as we're just like plug a plug,
Chill.
Today is pretty much the last day where you can grab tickets if you want to see our show that we did while we were in Salem at the Daniels house, which was such a fun time.
So fun.
Such a cool show. You guys really seem to be enjoying it, the ones who have watched.
The Dappa and the Flappa.
Dappa and the Flappa, if you want to grab tickets to that. I think you can watch until tomorrow, Thursday. So you can get tickets at momenthouse.com/morbid. And FYI, those of you who love to hang out at our virtual shows, we are doing another one in May. So keep your eye out for that.
That's going to be fun.
Yes, already planning that. Very excited for that.
Yes.
Maybe already have a venue that maybe is in Salem.
Hoping.
Yeah, fingers crossed, my dogs.
Yes. But that's all we have to shill at you today. And we're not going to go into anything else because this is going to be kind of a long one. And it's a doozy. And I need to start talking about it.
Yay.
So today we are going to start talking about part 1 of Matthew John Hoffman, otherwise known as the Leaf Killer. And his crimes are known as the Hollow Tree Murders.
Okay.
This is a wild case.
I know like the tip of the iceberg of this case. Like I've definitely heard it covered before, but I don't know that I've heard it covered to the lengths that you went to.
It's very intricate. It's very, very intricate. And there's a lot of people involved. It's brutal. And so in this first one, we're going to be talking about the people involved, the victims. We're going to talk about Matthew John Hoffman. We're going to talk about the initial crime. Mm-hmm. And then we're going to save the rest of it for part 2 because there's more after that initial brutal crime that he commits.
Okay.
So we're going to get right up to that. And then we're going to take a pause for part 2. And then part 2, we're really going to go ham on the crazy stuff that happened after that. So we'll start November 10th, 2010.
Okay.
That's when Valerie Haythorne was managing the Dairy Queen in Mount Vernon, Ohio. Her employee and friend, 32-year-old Tina Hermann, didn't show up for her shift.
Immediately no.
A tale as old as time, unfortunately, and she was extremely reliable. Tina never missed a day of work. She would never do a no-call, no-show. She would have at the very least shot Valerie, her friend, a text.
Right.
So this was weird. Already Valerie is like, I don't like this. Mm-hmm. So at the time, apparently, also, she had a boyfriend, Tina did, named Gregory Borders. They had a good relationship, but at this time, they were a little rocky. And they were in the process of breaking up.
Which is always like super scary and a heightened time of
Exactly.
fear.
So I think Valerie had her red flags going up. She was like, I don't know. I want to be safe. So she called the Knox County Sheriff's Office and asked if they would do a welfare check.
Great.
Because she couldn't get a hold of her. So she was like, something's wrong here. Now, Deputy Charles Statlet was sent to perform a welfare check on Tina's home in Apple Valley. His report said, quote, Valerie advised that Tina did not show up for work today, and she is concerned that something may have happened to her because Tina was going to break up with her boyfriend, Gregory Borders. That's what the report says. He went around 8 p.m. He was on his shift, so he just stopped by. He said nothing seemed amiss at the house. There were no cars in the driveway, and the lights were off. It kind of seemed like no one was home.
Okay.
So he knocked. No one answered. He couldn't really do anything else. That's what a welfare check is.
I was going to say, that's the thing about a welfare check is it's kind of hard because
a
lot of times I feel like you just don't end up making contact with the person.
Yeah, and you can't really do anything about it.
Yeah,
it's just like
you don't have any reason to enter the house, so and you can't.
If nothing, the only way you can really enter that house is if something looks like something is going on in there or something did happen, and you can't, if the shades are drawn and the curtains are drawn, what are you going to do, you know?
And it's like, even if you find something that makes you think you should enter, it's like such a fine line, I feel like.
It is. That's the thing. They have to be careful about it. They can't just barge into a house.
Right.
Even though that does happen all the time when they're not supposed to. But in this situation, he was doing his job. You can't go further with a welfare check. So he said nothing looked weird. So he went back onto his shift. But he said later, at around 11:30 p.m., so a few hours later, he was still on shift. He was going by that area. So he was like, you know what? I'm going to be a nice guy and I'm going to stop by and do another welfare check.
Yeah, let's just see what's going on here.
I'm going by. We might as well.
I'm doing my due diligence.
Yeah, and he was like, you know what? Her friend apparently seemed very concerned, so he was just trying to be like a good cop, I guess. And so he went by. He said the lights were on this time in the house and that a pickup truck was in the driveway. He knocked on the door. Nobody answered. Again, he had to leave.
Can't do anything, yeah.
And he had to report that nothing seemed amiss. Lights were on. Car was now in the driveway. Didn't see anything weird, so he left. Now, the next day, November 11th, Tina didn't show up again for work. And at this point, Valerie has not been able to get in touch with her still.
Right.
Those welfare checks are really not doing a whole lot. They're making things weirder, in fact. And so Valerie again called the sheriff's deputies and said, we need to check on her again. Something's wrong.
Right.
What are we doing here? We can't just wait until weeks go by and then like, what are we supposed to do?
Right.
So this is when things got a little heightened because it was also determined that Tina's kids, 13-year-old Sarah and 11-year-old Kody, had not shown up for school either.
Oh, so this is getting scarier.
So now it's getting weird. And while sheriff's deputies tried to contact Tina, Valerie was searching for anybody that could have had contact with Tina, anybody who could know where she is.
Yeah.
So she called Tina's best friend, somebody she was with all the time, and somebody who lived right down the street from her. Her name was Stephanie Sprang. She got no answer from Stephanie.
Okay, that's
so now she's
even weirder.
No one's answering the freaking phone. She's like, why can't I get anybody?
Right.
Stephanie's boyfriend, Ron Metcalf, actually connected back with Valerie at this time and was like, I can't get a hold of Stephanie. Like, what is going on right now? So together, Ron and Valerie were like, all right, we got to do something here because the police are only able to do so much.
Right.
They are doing what they can, but like,
we need
what's
to go a step
happening here?
further.
So they agreed to just meet at Tina's house and they were like, let's just check ourselves. We're friends. Like, we can do that. So Valerie, they met at the house. They decided they were just going to get in there. They were like, we're just going to bust in there because something's wrong and I need to know what's wrong.
And they're like, we kind of can a little bit.
Exactly.
You know?
Like, I think they were literally like, you know, they'll forgive us for barging in. Like,
we won't catch a case for
this.
this.
Exactly. I think we'll be okay here. So Valerie went in through a back window and she just popped in and it was dark in there. And she said, just silent.
Oh, and that's so
dead
creepy.
Silent. She said she walked a little further into the house, and that's when she came upon a horrifying scene. There was nobody in that house, but there was blood.
This episode is brought to you by SoFi, the all-in-one finance app where you can bank, borrow, and invest all in one place. Let's talk about bank accounts for a second. The average bank savings rate is 0.39% in interest. You're earning pennies on your savings, and it doesn't have to be that way. But with SoFi's high-yield checkings and savings, the money barely making moves sitting in your savings account can earn over 8 times the national average savings rate with eligible direct deposit. No account or overdraft fees. We love transparency. You can get your paycheck up to 2 days early, plus get up to a $300 welcome bonus when you sign up with eligible direct deposit. Sign up for SoFi checking and savings at SoFi.com/morbid. SoFi checking and savings is offered through SoFi Bank, N.A., member FDIC. Terms apply. The best summer pieces are the ones you end up wearing on repeat. Comfortable, versatile, and somehow right for almost every occasion. Quince makes it easy to create a summer wardrobe that you'll love, with elevated essentials made from premium materials like European linen, organic cotton, and washable silk, without the traditional retail markup. I love that! Quince's 100% European linen pants, dresses, and tops are the pieces that you absolutely will reach for all summer long. I absolutely love their linen. I have so many pairs of their linen pants, which you can dress up or you can dress down in the summer. Like, say you're going to a nice dinner, you can pair it with like a silk shirt, a really cute necklace, some good, makeup and an updo. Or if you're just looking for a more casual look, you can do the linen pants with like a loose button-up shirt and you still look really chic, kind of like, I don't know, Diane Keaton vibes, I kind of think.
Also, it's not just apparel. Quince also offers elevated essentials for your home, from bedding and bath to kitchen essentials and furniture. They have it all, honey. I am a big lover of Quince, and I really do think you will be too. Make your summer wardrobe feel easier. Go to quince.com/morbid for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. Now available in Canada too. That's QUINCE.com/morbid for free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/morbid.
Everywhere.
Oh my God.
It was on the walls, on the carpet, on the furniture. There was massive drag marks of blood going through the house.
Oh.
It looked like someone had just been torn apart.
Oh my God.
Again, no bodies, just blood.
Everywhere.
And she said tissue. She could see tissue. And she just was like, I'm out of here.
Like human tissue.
Yeah, like not like Kleenex.
Yeah. Just clarifying, because this is a weird case.
I was going to say human tissue was on the floor. Now, she ran out of there. Immediately they called 911, and all she could say over and over again to the 911 operator was, there's just blood everywhere.
Oh God. And this is like her friend.
Yeah. So let's go to who these people are. Tina Hermann was 32 years old. She was a divorced mother of 2 children. Her mother, Barbara, called her, quote, a fun-loving, hard worker and a very caring mother.
Oh.
Everyone who knew Tina said she was the kind of mother who would do absolutely anything for her kids. She would move heaven and earth.
I love it.
And she was a happy person.
Right.
They were like, she was a very happy person, very kind. Her mother said, quote, she loved dolphins and sunflowers. But most of all, she enjoyed watching and cheering on her children as they participated in sports.
This is so wholesome, and I hate knowing that it doesn't remain that way.
It's really sad. Now, Tina had met her ex-husband at the time, Larry Maynard, who did not live in the home, by the way, during this time, when they were 15 years old. That's when they met. And they immediately had fallen for each other. Now, before we begin with more into this, there is stuff that happened after this whole case with Larry and his new wife.
Oh.
I will talk about it in part 2.
Cool.
I just want to be clear about that. I'm not going to pretend that it didn't happen.
Okay.
But I want to keep it for them because it's after this whole case wraps up and it's wild. And he and his wife have a lot to feel shame for.
Oh.
And we will get into it. But for now, I will at least tell you the kind things he had to say for his family.
Literally only you would set up a cliffhanger within minutes of starting the fucking story. Like only you.
They're not great. So
yeah,
but
it's still
you know
a cliffhanger.
What? I'm gonna start with the lovely things he had to say about his ex-wife and his children because they deserve to be praised during this, and we'll just kind of talk about what shit went down later. But at the time, they had a very good relationship for a long time, Tina and Larry. Larry later said she was so sweet, she was so kind and so beautiful. And he said when he saw her at 15 years old, he was just smitten. And he said she was beloved by everyone. She was super popular. Everyone thought she was great, even back then. And he said she was truly one of those lit up the room when she walked into it kind of people.
I love it.
They had their first child, Sarah, when they were both 19 years old. And she was actually born very premature.
Oh, wow.
It was tough, but they worked together to get her healthy, and they were able to very quickly. And he said it actually just bonded them closer together, which it will do. If you have a good relationship, that shit will bond you together or it will tear you apart.
Very much so.
Now, everyone said Sarah was a true fighter from the get-go. And she was a really happy baby. She was very energetic, super curious and sweet. And 2 years after she was born, her brother Kody came into the world and they bonded immediately.
Oh, I was just looking at pictures of them. They are the cutest family.
They are so sweet, so adorable.
And they all have like the happiest faces. Like you were just saying they were so happy. You can see it on their faces.
They were just like, it seemed like it was a happy family. They definitely went through some stuff financially and just like struggled that way. There was a divorce. Things were not always the happiest.
Yeah.
But it seems like there was no no recorded abuse in this household.
Seems like they all kind of got through it together.
Exactly. And Tina, especially, it seemed, was just a great mom. She was just a great mom.
She looks like a great mom.
She has like that, like, she would give you a good hug.
Like, she would be like, in my case, I feel like she'd be like my friend's mom, that I'd be like, oh, you're the best.
Like, you're the coolest mom.
That's I wish you were my mom.
Yeah,
like,
that's the thing. And Kody and Sarah, like, were really sweet with each other. They fought like normal brother and sister did. Anybody who says they didn't like ever argue with their brother or sister is crazy.
They're like preteens. Exactly. That's like the height of the arguing.
But they loved each other. Yeah. They supported each other, and they were like goofy with each other. And both of them, apparently, according to everyone who knew them, both of them were apparently just like super kind. Oh, like that's the one thing that is describes Tina, but also describes Kody especially, and Sarah, that they were just like kind kids.
Well, they were raised right, clearly.
Yeah, and they were always sticking up for other kids and helping people. In fact, Larry, their father, said he didn't even know if he could take credit for teaching them that kind of kindness. He said it just seemed like who they were. Yeah. From the jump.
I think that's just how some people are. It's just in you, or sometimes it's not.
Now, when they were struggling as a family, just financially a little bit, Larry had gotten a job as a long haul trucker. And that's tough. That can be tough, you know, especially on a marriage. It can be tough if you're not like super strong to begin with, because, you know, long haul truckers work their asses off. They work all the time. They work for long periods of time, and they're going across the country.
Right.
And so he's gone from the kids. He's gone from her. He said it was just like really straining on their marriage, and it didn't work out. So unfortunately, they did end in divorce. Mm. But he said it wasn't a volatile, anger-filled divorce. It was like they just grew apart.
It's like sometimes, and it's like so scary, but sometimes people will say, you just fell out of love.
That always like breaks my heart.
I know.
Like that is just because I'm like, what? Like,
it's
what?
Never gonna happen, okay?
No, never. I can't, like, that breaks my heart when people say that.
Like, even saying that, I got that feeling like I was gonna cry.
That little like choked up feeling. I know, I'm like, no.
But it does happen.
It happens to some people. And it's usually it's for the best when it happens.
And I think it's a slow process. Like, I think it's happening.
There's signs in there somewhere. Right. You can usually only see them in hindsight, though.
Right.
Now, Larry and Tina put both the kids first, and they didn't hold kids against each other. They didn't use them in any way. They were like, we were very serious about not doing that, not fighting in front of them, not doing anything that could make them feel like they were a part of the divorce.
Not making them pick sides.
Yeah, they were like, all we wanted was for both of us to have enough time with those kids.
Yeah.
That's the way you do it.
Kids don't need to be an active part of divorce.
Yeah, just because your relationship doesn't work out doesn't mean that their relationship can't work out. So
Precisely.
It's like, obviously there's mitigating factors to every different divorce, but like in a normal divorce, that's just like everyone's chill. There was no abuse. There was nothing like that.
Right.
Just, make sure the kids are always first. Now, eventually, Tina met a man named Greg Borders, and they worked together at the Target distribution center. They liked each other right away. Cute. He was a good guy. They ended up dating and moving into an apartment together with Kody and Sarah. Everything seemed to be going well. Larry said that at this point, everything was great between the two exes. They were communicating, co-parenting. Everything was good. And he said, quote, "We had both matured by then, and we both loved our kids. We didn't want to argue in front of them or about them. Both Tina and I wanted just what's best for them."
All right.
Now, after Tina got laid off from her job at the Target distribution center, she got a new position at a Dairy Queen. And she and Greg moved the kids to Apple Valley, to actually a small home on Kings Beach Drive. It was pretty idyllic and a very safe area. But
that makes my stomach hurt knowing
it was a very safe area. The house was kind of away from other neighbors.
Okay.
Which can be like,
or it can be like,
be like, yeah, but it can also be,
It's a mixture of both.
And I think it's because of what, the bad guy here, John Hoffman, says later that really made me think about it more. And I'll tell you in a second. It was a house that was away from neighbors. It was in a safe area, but across the street from it was just woods. No other houses. Mm-hmm. Now, that sounds great, because it's like you're just like in the woods. Everybody leaves me alone.
That doesn't sound super
Neighbors
great.
Can be tough.
Yeah.
Like neighbors are rough.
Yeah.
I dig my neighbors now, but we, You go through it with them.
My neighbors are like super chill.
I dig my neighbors, and it's nice to have neighbors that you like and that everybody's looking out for each other.
You can wave when you leave the neighbors.
Yeah, exactly. And everybody's just looking out for each other.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Neighbors can be great for that. When you guys are bros, which like I love that we're bros now, like everybody's looking out, and when they see weird stuff, they're the first ones that are going to be like, ring, ring, excuse me. Now, when you don't have that, it can be a little scary. And I say this because Matthew Hoffman later said, I chose this house at random, and I chose it because it didn't have any close neighbors, and it was across the street from woods.
Okay.
And he also said their garage door, just a little tidbit, their garage door was broken, and it didn't go down all the way. Oh, man. There was a little like crack on the bottom where he could shimmy it up.
Yeah.
That's what he said. He let out that like terrifying dark information that was in his head.
He was like, PSA.
Take with that what you will.
A PSA.
But that freaked me out. And I was like, woo, glad I have neighbors. So like this, because this is really scary. But the thing is, everybody was happy. They were healthy at this point. The kids did well at school. They were playing sports. They were doing stuff after school. Everyone, and Tina was working her ass off.
Yeah.
Later, like the kids always said that they had everything they needed, and Tina made sure of it. Those kids were provided for.
This is like a very just kind of like all-American family.
Yeah, they're doing what they can to just like pay their bills.
Right.
The kids are all able to do sports.
Yeah.
She's making sure that she can pay for sports. Everything seems like it's going great. Now, during this time also, Tina found a friend in her new neighborhood. Because although she didn't have a lot of neighbors around her, like nearby, there was houses down the road.
Yeah.
And a couple of houses down was a woman named Stephanie Sprang. And she immediately hit it right off with Tina. They were fast, like best friends. They were like around each other all the time. Stephanie was apparently super energetic and fun. She was kind as well, just really sweet. She was the perfect fit for Tina and the perfect fit for her family to be like an Auntie Stephanie,
Auntie Steph.
No, a family member said, quote, Stephanie would walk into a room and light it up. And she said that was just the kind of personality she had. She laughed a lot and seemed like a happy person all the time. Stephanie and Tina were the best of friends and did everything together around Apple Valley. So that's what people who knew her said about her. When two people who are best friends are described as lighting up a room,
like together
by two different people,
right?
Then I think they lit up a room.
I would
say these two are the ones that light up the room.
I'd put money on it.
I would too. So in fall of 2010, unfortunately, like I said, Greg and Tina were a little bit on the rocks. They were deciding to break up, and Tina was going to be looking for an apartment to move the kids out of the house.
Oh, God.
This is why when she didn't show up for her shift twice, immediately people started worrying that something went sour with the breakup. Let me now say that Greg and everyone around them maintains their relationship rocky, but never abusive. But obviously, a lot of times when a breakup is happening and someone goes missing, you really do have to look at the ex and what is happening here.
Because you don't know what happens behind closed doors. Like, obviously, in this situation, not really much was happening behind closed doors other than their relationship was breaking down.
Sometimes you just, you don't know. People can snap. Yeah. There's
Have
a whole
you seen
show
the show
about it.
Snapped?
Yeah. And it's like, okay, but I will say I couldn't find anything to say that there was abuse in this home. So I just want to be clear on that.
Of course.
Now, during that fall of 2010, before Tina failed to show up for work and Stephanie's boyfriend couldn't contact her and Tina's children didn't show up for school, there was an actual monster waiting in the woods across from their home. He had watched them for a little bit, camping out at night to see what their routines were, to see when people left the house every morning, because Greg had to leave very early in the morning because he was, I believe, like 60 miles away from the Target distribution center.
Oh, wow.
So he had to leave at like 3 a.m. or something. So this monster was sitting there watching him leave at a certain time, watching Tina leave at a certain time, watching those kids get on the bus.
And that's the thing. I feel like when you're kind of like oh my gosh, like you're a family like this, there are routines that you just can't
fall
switch
into
around.
these routines.
And it's like we say all the time, like switch up your routine if you can. But when you have a family and kids especially, you leave the house at a certain time.
Exactly.
You just do.
It can be hard.
Right.
So as much as you can, do it. But it's like there's only so much you can do here.
Which is scary.
And as he's doing this, watching their routines,
You know that feeling when you come home late from work and those puppy dog eyes just pierce right through your soul? Or when you're packing for a trip and your cat refuses to leave your suitcase? Yeah, we've all been there. Pet parent guilt is real. And you know what? It's completely normal. That's exactly why Hill's Pet Nutrition exists. They understand that being a pet parent means being human, with all of our imperfections and daily juggling acts. Hill's science-led nutrition helps you give more love than humanly possible. Whether it's those long work days or trying to balance attention between multiple pets, Hill's Pet Nutrition gets it. They've created science-based nutrition that supports your pet's lifelong health so you can feel confident even when life gets hectic. Because you're only human, there's Hill's. Science does more. Ready to let go of the guilt? Find the right food at hillspet.com/podcast. That's hillspet.com/podcast. Do you remember in school when you just knew that your teacher had a favorite of everything? They would always use the same blue dry erase marker when they wrote on the board, or they would talk nonstop about their favorite element during science. I had a teacher once that literally had a favorite brand of marker. She would only write with specific markers, and if another marker ended up in her classroom, she was TO'd. And honestly, I was probably her favorite student because at the end of the year, I got her that specific brand of marker. Let's talk about their real favorite thing though, their favorite tissue brand. Kleenex. According to Teacher List, they are the #1 facial tissue trusted by teachers. Kleenex Ultra Soft tissues are silky soft to help prevent skin irritation, and now you can take them anywhere with Kleenex Snap and Go. I absolutely love Kleenex Snap and Go. It's so perfect to have that in your car. I had a cold last week and I was just... Honey, my nose was a faucet. I hate to do this to you, but it was disgusting. Drew literally came out of our garage with like 15 of the Kleenex Snap and Goes, and I put those in my glove compartment, and honey, they were easy access. It was so nice knowing that I didn't have to blow my nose into like an old wrapper that I had. Ew. So do the best thing for your kids' teachers and stock up on the ultimate classroom favorite. Maybe it'll make them their teacher's favorite student. They definitely have a favorite. Don't even get me started because, again, you know it was me. For whatever happens next, grab Kleenex.
He was planning what he later claimed was supposed to be a routine burglary where no one got hurt.
I don't know if I believe that.
I don't at all. That monster's name was Matthew John Hoffman. So unfortunately, let's talk about Matthew John Hoffman for a second.
Okay.
Matthew John Hoffman was born November 1st, 1980. His parents... A Scorpio. His parents were Robert and Patricia Hoffman. He was born in Warren, which is in northeastern Ohio. His parents, he had like a pretty whatever childhood. Okay. Nothing crazy happened.
Right.
His parents divorced in 1997. He ended up moving in with his mother, where they both moved to Knox County.
Oh, weird. We just covered a case from him.
Right? Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
He was quiet and kept to himself. Everyone who did know him said he was just a quiet kid in the beginning. He wasn't, all aggressive or someone they worried about.
Should always
nothing
worry
that happened
about the quiet ones.
However, they did say that he would say things that would he started turning as he got older, hit puberty and stuff. He started acting strange.
Okay.
And just it would just make people raise their eyebrow.
It's always the quiet ones.
And again, not aggressive or mean, but just strange. He could be blunt, which same. He could be blunt. He marched to the beat of his own weird drummer.
Finding this weirdly relatable.
I know. As I was reading this, I was like, okay, we can't say anything about this.
Oh, in the next line, I see the word stubborn.
Yeah. His mom said he was very smart, but very stubborn.
Sounds like someone I know. This is actually very terrifying.
It was very terrifying. He wouldn't budge when he was fixated on something, and he refused to admit that he was wrong.
Oh.
Ash is literally sitting there with her head tilted, blinking at me.
Oh, girl. Oh.
We diverged at some point, don't worry. I will admit, up until this point, I was feeling weirdly what is happening? But don't worry.
Am I a sociopath?
Ready? We're going to diverge hard right now.
Yeah.
He was obsessed with trees.
Can't say the same.
Two roads, we diverge.
Actually, not to a big degree, but my case for this week has a little tree moment.
Oh, hey.
Which is weird. It's a quick tree moment.
Welcome to Tree Week.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was obsessed with trees. It wasn't like he just enjoyed breathing oxygen like all of us do.
I do enjoy that.
I love breathing oxygen.
I love a good O2 moment.
I suppose we all had that in common, but He just like, and he didn't enjoy just like seeing a cool spooky tree or like a pretty tree, which like I do. I love a spooky tree.
Yeah.
Like give me that.
Yeah. Give me an elm, a witch elm.
But he was fixated on trees. And part of it with him, I will say, it seemed to be that he loved heights. He was a risk taker. And in high school, he got in trouble for being kind of like rebellious. He would climb onto roofs and jump off onto trampolines and into pools.
That's fun.
It was like a thrill-seeking thing, and trees were the ultimate place to climb high.
Trees, man.
The ultimate thrill, man.
I'm like, I love heights as well, but not... Trees are cool.
Well, and he was outdoorsy. So this was just like his thing. It's like a natural thrill-seeking thing.
Couldn't be me.
He was also said to like do things like you would just be walking with him. And again, I'm going to say right ahead of this, I always hate when people are like, oh, yeah, he would do this weird thing that he did. And I'm like, that was just a weird thing. That didn't mean that he was going to go kill people. Like, can we not attribute weird behavior like that is very innocuous and not harmful to later he was a serial killer and that definitely told us? Like,
what was it?
No. He would do things like you would be walking with him and he would just like jump onto like a picnic table and like backflip off of it.
Oh, parkour.
And later, exactly. And later people were like, oh, weird. And I'm like, no, it's not. That's normal teenage kid behavior.
You ever seen like the kids walking into Target? They always do like
jumping
that weird
on those little things
over the red ball.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not a
and
serial
apparently
killer.
His neighbor said he made like a tightrope between two trees in his backyard and would like walk tightrope all the time.
Okay, that's not like serial killer behavior, but I would if my neighbor started doing that, I'd be like, huh.
It's one of those things where you just be like, okay,
just make you go, huh.
Does that make you happy? Cool, because it's literally not hurting anybody.
And it's not really
like,
my
that's
business.
The thing. So I don't like when we like attribute these weird, but I had to bring it up just because of how angry it makes me that we like
I get that.
end up attributing these things. Yeah. Because of course we can go back and say, whoa, that's weird, or like that's strange behavior, or like, yeah, like that I would be like, why are you doing that? But like, it's not the making of a homicidal maniac rapist. So let's not just like pin a label on people who are like a little offbeat as like, ooh, I bet they might be a homicidal maniac later.
It's like they might just be eccentric.
They might just be weird.
Right.
Like, you know, it's just like, that's fine.
Yeah, we're all weird. We literally open up the show with, hey, weirdos.
Pay attention to things that are harming other people or even harming
animals.
that person. Or just things that are like violent, aggressive, that kind of thing. Like
tightrope walking is not aggressive.
Tightrope walking and parkour are not things that you really need to be that concerned about in another person. Just let them live.
Parkour.
He was weird, but it didn't indicate at all what he was capable of doing or even violence until later, which then he does show that there's some signs later.
So we have things to look at. So that's
again,
the other thing. We have things to look at that do indicate violence, so we can just leave those other things.
So let's leave the parkour and the tightrope walking and like the I like to climb trees kind of thing when he was younger to like the wayside.
One of these things is not like the other.
Exactly, because we do have violent behavior later that I think just makes people immediately, which I get it. We all do it. I do it. Which you go into hindsight and you're like, oh, that's weird too. So yeah, he was weird. And it's like, okay, yeah, I guess. But
it's like a Venn diagram of weirdness.
It truly is. It truly is.
Some things go over here in the innocuous category. Yeah. Some things go in the holy shit, that's aggressive. And then some things go weirdly
just
in the
all
middle.
Over the place. Now, it's hotly debated whether he had a legitimate attraction or fetish for trees.
To be honest with you, like, I don't need to know.
No, I mean, I don't think we will know. That's called dendrophilia and actually translates to love of trees, which he definitely had, a love of trees. But it's kind of been turned to mean a sexual love of trees now. Like in psychology, a lot of that is said. Now, it's basically a term for when you like literally fuck trees or you want to fuck trees. Like it's become like a paraphilia kind of thing. But I don't know if he went this far. There's no he seemed to find comfort mostly in trees. And I think he was mentally ill. Yeah. I'm not going to sit here and diagnose him. I have no idea what he did or did not have.
Sure.
He seems like he was mentally ill in some way and that he was struggling at times. Mm-hmm. And he was very obsessed with he struggled financially when he was on his own. And I think he very much fixated on getting money and getting enough money. And I think he found comfort in trees, which that's a whole different thing.
That's where money comes from, baby.
It sure does. Now, I definitely think he found comfort in it, and I think it turned into an unhealthy obsession, for sure. But nothing publicly released, at least that I could find, truly suggests that it was sexual.
Okay, so maybe
That's
it's
all I'm
just kind of like over the years, it's kind of been like thrown into the story, the sexual part
It's
of it.
for sure unhealthy, and it's definitely strange.
Right.
And there is a possibility that it was sexual. I have no idea. He definitely had some kind of like, I don't know if I would use, I'm sorry, I'm like starting. I don't know if I would use fetish, but possibly, because to me, fetish kind of indicates a sexual nature to it.
Right.
Again, there's no reports that he was fucking trees. There's no reports that he was like rubbing up on trees. He never said he wanted to fuck a tree.
So what was it that people speculate he was sexually attracted to them?
So obsessed with them.
Like, did he talk about them a lot?
Well, and as we'll see, the trees and leaves become a very big part of this crime.
They do, and I know that.
And we're
I've
gonna
never been able to wrap my brain around
We
it.
will discuss a little bit of it in part 1, but we're really going to get into it in part 2.
All right,
because
I'll
there's
save my
bigger
questions.
Parts. But I just wanted to put that out there that I technically could not find something that definitively said that he fucked a tree or that he wanted to fuck a tree.
Stop saying fucked a tree.
But it's a possibility.
Okay.
And who knows? Because this guy, you can't believe a word out of his fucking mouth.
Yeah.
And 2, he's a monster.
Right.
And he's like a deviant. Like as we're going to find out, he may have known that there was a 13-year-old girl in this house. And he may have planned this. And personally, I believe he did.
Yeah.
So if he's going to do that, who is to say what else he is going to go into?
Yeah. Well, and he definitely did know there was like at least a young girl because he saw the routine.
Exactly. But people, he likes to say that wasn't my intention, was not to go in there because it was this 13-year-old girl.
And how did it end up the way it did?
But again, he's a lying sack of shit.
Right.
So
he also said that his intention was to go in and rob the house, which I also don't believe.
Now, after high school, Matthew took courses to study in industrial electrical engineering. Because remember, he's a really smart kid at this point. What a waste. And he had a ton of jobs. He wasn't great at keeping a consistent and responsible thing going for long. Look at that. His odd ways or his boredom was really the thing that would get the best of him, and he would be on to the next one.
Okay.
Because he would just start acting. He could really get into things and get into people's lives by being pretty normal and just quiet. And people were like, yeah, nothing's wrong with him.
Right.
And then he would start to let these strange behaviors out, and people were like, okay, like I'm a little creeped out now.
Off-putting.
Yeah, he would unnerve people in ways. Like he would never assault them outright or like say anything that was like inappropriate to that degree, but it was like things that were just like, oh, I don't know.
Probably one of those people where like when this did end up happening and getting reported, multiple people who worked with him were like, I always knew there was something off.
Exactly.
Like I couldn't put my finger on it, but there was something.
And those things make sense. Like when you can look back and go, you know what? I did always feel off around him.
Right.
Like that is something that happens. Trust your gut.
The body knows.
It sure does.
That's what my therapist says.
The body knows. Now, so he just couldn't find something that made him happy or made him feel fulfilled. And he was kind of struggling financially. And again, he was always bored, always searching for the next adventure or thing that he could do. But he was so very much underperforming for his intelligence, basically. Now, in 2000, he got a job finally. And he got this job out in Colorado, in Steamboat Springs, which, like, what a name for a place. That sounds beautiful and idyllic.
It does. I would go there.
Steamboat Springs.
I love spring.
Yeah. Now, he got a job with a plumbing company called Scott Barnes Plumbing. He was living at a place at the time, because, again, he's not making a ton of money. He was living at a place called the D Bar K Motel. This was a pretty gnarly motel, and basically just like workers would sometimes stay or live there while they worked there. Mm-hmm. It wasn't great. So in September 2000, he found himself really down and really fighting urges to do something reckless again. He was getting bored. He was ready to move on to the next thing, but he's one of those like restless motherfuckers that just has like all this shit pent up in him, and he uses it in fucked up ways.
Oh, okay. Before you got to the end of that sentence, I was like, I wonder if there's Sagittarius in his chart, because like Sagittarius always has to fight the urge to like go away and do the next thing.
Oh, really?
I'm a Sagittarius rising, and I constantly feel the need to just run away.
Whoa.
And like do something like crazy, but then come back.
Crazy.
But I don't,
But not like reckless and harmful.
Not reckless and harmful ever. But I have a lot of things to do, so I can't run away.
Yeah, you do have a lot of things to do. Can confirm.
Yeah.
You do.
So I fight the urge.
You fight that. I appreciate that.
No problem.
Now, so what he did was he ran out in Steamboat Springs and he stole 3 signs from a city park. These were huge signs.
It's also like hard to steal signs.
Oh, these were huge wooden signs.
Right.
And they basically were the signs that said like, welcome to Steamboat Springs.
Yeah.
Like that's what they said. And he just took them.
And you have to like dig those out of the ground, and they're in there pretty far. I'm not going to go too further into it, but it's hard to steal signs.
It's hard to do it. And these were giant wooden signs that you literally had to dig out of the ground. You had to get a truck to haul them away. He stole 3 of them.
And you have to lift them yourself.
By himself.
What the fuck? And why?
And if you look at him, you're like, what? Now, people somehow, police people, they somehow traced these signs back to the motel room where they found them. Like, I think
they're gigantic.
They were able to like trace it in some way. It's really not that important, but they found them back there. And when they went back to the room, no one was in there. But they found the signs. I think 2 of them were in the room and one of them was like under the building.
Why?
Yeah. And so they were like, what? So they looked at the records and found that Matthew Hoffman was the one who was renting that room and the only one who was renting that room during that time period. But he was gone. He had skipped town.
Was he stealing another sign?
And it's like he left the signs.
He just did it for the thrill of it.
So they track Hoffman down back in Ohio. And he just straight up admits to stealing those signs. He's like, yeah, I did it.
And he doesn't give any reason?
Well, and they were like, why did you do that? And he was like, I just wanted a souvenir from Steamboat Springs.
Or 3
And he said he wanted
ones?
the novelty of it all.
He said, I'm doing it.
So he was like, yeah,
thrill.
I did it. I stole them. And then he told them, so they were like, you need to come back and face the charges now. And he was like, all right.
He was like, cool,
Sure.
see you there.
So while they're waiting for him to return, this crazy weird story started circulating the police department, because who the fuck steals giant welcome to Steamboat Springs signs, then admits to it, and also he left them in the motel room when he said he stole them to keep as a souvenir.
Yeah.
So it was strange, and all the police officers are like, what the fuck?
They're like, we have hats in town at CVS that you could buy.
You want a sweatshirt, bro?
Right,
like, what is wrong with you? You can get a magnet that says that. A picture of that sign you can have.
Get all of those little trinkets.
Yeah. We'll give you a gift basket.
We'll even give you the sign on a magnet.
Exactly.
How about that?
And it was strange, and it wasn't adding up. So another detective was like, wait, that name sounds familiar. Matthew Hoffman.
Oh.
And he was like, wait, I know that he works for Scott Barnes Plumbing Company. And he said it was pertinent to him and he had remembered it because he read the names of the employees of that company a couple of weeks ago, because there had been plumbers that Johnson Shipley Management Company had hired to provide services for a huge condo complex.
Okay.
It was like townhomes. And that was the plumbing company that this management company had hired. Now, the reason he was looking through this was that condo complex had weirdly burned to the ground 2 weeks ago.
Oh, shit.
On August 28th.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. And it was only a couple of weeks after that plumbing company, the one that Matthew Hoffman worked for, had actually done work on that complex.
Dude. I didn't realize arson was a part of this story.
Yes. Now, arson was what they believed happened. They didn't think it just burned down accidentally.
Well, and it's crazy because they have ways of like telling.
Yeah.
Which is so wild to me.
Well, they had traced the point of origin of the fire to a Unit 7. Now, that unit was the one that Matthew Hoffman had done work in.
Gotcha.
So they were like, okay, so this guy works for this plumbing company that this management company hired to do work on this specific unit in this specific townhome complex.
Yes.
And that complex burned down.
Yeah.
And now this guy stole 3 signs, left them in the motel room, and then just skipped town.
Like, he's acting all kinds of bizarre.
So they're like, I feel like we could talk to him about this.
They're like,
I feel
how
like
bizarre.
we have a nice little connection here. So he comes in from Ohio to be questioned about the signs formally. And all, went as planned. He was like, yep, he admitted it again. I stole the signs. Then they start asking him about his plumbing job. Mm-hmm. And they're like, did you do a job in Unit 7? And he was like, yeah, I did. Just, yep. They were like, oh, cool. Why were your fingerprints on a ton of shit in the owner of that unit's vehicle?
What?
And they were like, and why was that vehicle stolen and actually abandoned in the middle of town?
Wow, you buried the lead on that one, motherfucker.
So he was like, oh, I think I like moved stuff out of the way when I was doing the plumbing job and like put some stuff in the car. So like that probably worked. And he was like, but like you didn't have access to that car.
Never have I ever needed my plumber to put stuff in my car.
No.
Like the Dawn dish soap and the extra sponges and the fucking dishwasher pods, they can just be put to the side. Yeah. You don't have to put them in my car.
And these were like boxes and shit in the car.
Right.
And of like random stuff from the condo.
That like had nothing to do with. That
didn't need to be in a box and didn't need to be moved.
Like weren't in the way of plumbing.
And then he said something like it was like a Subaru, I think. And he was like, oh, yeah, they were like, why was your fingerprints on the Subaru? And he was like, oh, I think I touched it because I just like looked at it. And they were like, why did you look at it? And he was like, I don't know.
I love me a good Subaru.
He was like, who doesn't love a white Subaru?
He said, I want to know what makes a Subaru.
I want to know. There you go.
I just wanted to know.
I just wanted to know.
I just came to
There
me.
you go. That was great.
Thanks.
No, he fully admitted finally, you got me.
I burned it down.
He didn't admit to why. He just said, you obviously got me. And they're like, what did we get you for?
Touching a Subaru?
We need to go a little further. So they're like, can you explain what we got you for?
Uh-huh.
So he fully admits. He goes, yep, I knew the unit owner was going to be out of town because I had done that. I had ascertained that information when I was doing the job for him. He said he was going to be out of town for a while. So he said, I went back to that unit myself 5 times. I broke in 5 times. I used everything in it. I cooked myself meals. I showered there. I watched TV for hours on end.
Ew, get the fuck out of my condo.
He actually said, quote, I stayed in there and watched TV because my own place didn't have cable TV. I cooked myself meals and used the jacuzzi.
Ew.
Yeah. He also stole stuff.
Get out of my house.
And here's what he did. He stole stuff and just left it other places. He stole a stuffed mountain lion.
Question mark?
Which, like, what the fuck? And a dresser and a bunch of clothing.
He stole a dresser?
And he put it in the Subaru.
In the man's
And then
Subaru?
abandoned the Subaru downtown. He was apparently planning to go get it again, but, like, it went awry.
So, also, this poor man who lived here comes home.
Yeah.
His dresser is missing along with his Subaru. There's, like, a weird stench of ramen and wet jacuzzi.
You know that feeling when you come home late from work and those puppy dog eyes just pierce right through your soul? Or when you're packing for a trip and your cat refuses to leave your suitcase? Yeah, we've all been there. Pet parent guilt is real. And you know what? It's completely normal. That's exactly why Hill's Pet Nutrition exists. They understand that being a pet parent means being human, with all of our imperfections and daily juggling acts. Hill's science-led nutrition helps you give more love than humanly possible. Whether it's those long work days or trying to balance attention between multiple pets, Hill's Pet Nutrition gets it. They've created science-based nutrition that supports your pet's lifelong health so you can feel confident even when life gets hectic. Because you're only human, there's Hill's. Science does more. Ready to let go of the guilt? Find the right food at hillspet.com/podcast. That's hillspet.com/podcast. This is a paid ad by BetterHelp. I happen to be somebody that struggles with people pleasing. So a lot of times I will build things up and up and up and up and up and then kind of get to the point where I'm like, I need to let this out to this person. Even in 2026, that stigma and just stigma in general can get in the way of a lot of things, like getting support for your mental health. Maybe you've encouraged friends to consider therapy while avoiding taking that first step yourself because you're busy. You're worried about what other people might think or telling yourself that you should handle this all alone. But therapy with BetterHelp, the world's largest online therapy platform, can be a space to slow down and talk through what's been building before it feels unmanageable. Just take a short questionnaire to identify your needs and preferences, and BetterHelp will handle the initial therapist matching work for you. Their industry-leading match rate means BetterHelp typically gets it right the first time. Feel confident knowing BetterHelp therapists work according to a strict code of conduct and are fully qualified. Don't let hesitation hold you back. Find support with BetterHelp. Sign up and get 10% off at betterhelp.com/morbid. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/morbid.
in the air, and he's like, what the fuck happened? Except that doesn't even happen because he comes down and the place is burned to a
I was
crisp.
just gonna say he didn't even get a chance to smell the ramen. He came to a burned down house.
Oh, no.
He also stole a fax machine and a camera. A fax machine.
What fucking year was this?
It was like 2000.
Oh, okay.
Then
Fair.
he said he started a fire in the unit after the 5 times hanging out there because he said, I just couldn't clean up all my fingerprints. They were everywhere.
So he had to burn
So he
the
said I had to
entire
eliminate
building
the whole crime scene. And this was tricky because remember, this is like a townhome complex. He had lit a unit on fire, and the police were now asking him if he knew that there were other people in the adjacent units.
Right.
And he said he knew they were there, but he was sure the fire alarm would warn them to get out of the building before they got hurt. However, that's risky. And how can you be sure it wasn't attempted murder? That's tough. Yeah. Like, you can't take his fucking word. And he had used 10 gallons of gasoline to start the fire, and 16 people had to run for their lives out of those buildings.
Oh, God. Were there any kids?
Everybody was fine. No one was hurt.
Okay, good.
But they narrowly escaped, and there was $2 million worth of damage.
I was going to say, not only did they, like, narrowly escape with
They
their
lost
lives,
their
but they
house.
lost everything.
Now, he was charged with arson, unlawfully and knowingly breaking and entering into the condo, first-degree aggravated motor vehicle theft, theft of property, and reckless endangerment.
So why wasn't he in jail for, like, a really long time?
Well, he pled guilty. He didn't want to go to trial. He wrote a letter to the judge saying he now understood the full weight of his crime and that he was promising to be a better man and to not let these kind of impulses based on money and material shit control him anymore. He ended up getting 8 years in prison.
That's it?
And he actually told the judge at his sentencing, quote, I just want to say that I did have concern for the people in the other condos. Now that I think back to it, I would not have done it.
I wonder...
Which is like, thank you, sir.
Yeah, like, gee, hindsight.
Thank you so much.
I do wonder if he actually felt that way, like he was worried about the other people, or if this was an appearance thing.
Yeah, I wonder.
For
I
me,
don't know.
I'm like, I feel like this is more about appearances, and so you don't have to, like, spend forever in jail.
To me, at this point, I could see it being that he really did just want to eliminate the crime scene.
More of an escalation.
And that he was just like... I think he also just is like, his way of thinking is like, well, they'll just leave. It's not a big deal.
Like, he doesn't think too much
Like, he's
on
not
it.
thinking too much. And I think in his head, he's probably like, and if someone dies, someone dies.
Like, I
think
gotta do this.
I don't think his intention in this case was to kill a bunch of people.
No, it doesn't sound
But
like
I
it,
think
at least.
collateral damage wouldn't have actually bothered him.
Because the urge was too
don't.
strong to...
Yeah, and I think this was all an act of him being like, I wouldn't have done it. No, I think you would have. And I think if somebody died, you would have been like, oops, I
Yeah.
cleared the crime scene.
Thank God nobody did.
Now, the prosecutor said of this case later, this is just a true miracle that there was not a loss of life. This
Yeah.
was not a quick childhood loss of judgment. This was a thought-out, premeditated plan, which is exactly, you should have
Yeah.
got more. Unfortunately, he was a model prisoner, and he got out in 6 years. So
Wow.
he shaved 2 years off of that. I'm not sure what 2 more years would have done for him, but
Right.
it still sucks. Now, he ended up getting parole, and he was able to move back to Ohio. They allowed him to serve his parole in Ohio.
Yeah.
He did pay back some of that $2 million, though. So, like, that's nice. He paid back $4,800 of it.
Okay.
So, like, at least he repaid his debt to society,
Yeah.
you know?
Is 48, like, what fraction of 2 million is that?
I cannot math that. No, I cannot.
I cannot math that.
He was good on parole. He always met with his parole officer, seemed to be turning his life around. Things were looking up a little bit.
Uh-huh.
No, he didn't have a ton of friends. He was a little bit of a loner. Not like the super loner where you're like, what's that dude doing? It was just kind of like, he was just around. He wasn't really creepy at this point or off-putting. He was just quiet.
Okay.
And, you know, it seemed like he maybe learned his lesson at this point, and everybody was just kind of like letting him be, because maybe they were like, maybe he's just like
We're like, let's
fully
not,
marinating in
Yeah.
the consequences of his actions.
so let's not aggravate this arson man.
Yeah, let's not poke that bear. So for a while, he was just camping out a little bit and living in his car because he didn't have enough money to really get a place.
Okay.
But he was working, he wanted to work to get somewhere of his own. So he would often just kind of like wander around the woods and like got to know the area and the forest really well.
Wander around the woods.
And would like just climb trees a lot.
Okie dokie.
Yeah. And he had like tree climbing gear too, so he was like an avid climber.
I mean, I don't know a lot of people that just like climb trees all willy-nilly.
I don't think I know anyone who climbs trees willy-nilly.
I don't either.
Not a lot.
I don't. But I do wonder if like there's more of them than I would ever know.
Yeah, who knows? I don't know if people are open about their tree climbing abilities or penchants. You should be. I think it's fine.
I want to know.
Just don't go down this path.
But I'm just like, so is this super weird? Like, do people wander the woods and climb trees a lot? Or
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm not here to judge you on your like. If you like to climb trees, like climb fucking trees. Just be careful.
Yeah,
don't
be
hurt
super
yourself.
careful.
But like, when you put it in context with later, it gets weird. Yeah, that's when it gets weird.
Right.
The tree climbing itself, not weird. It gets a little weird in a little while.
Okay.
Little, I mean a lot, not a little, not slightly, very much so.
This case confounds me.
Yeah. Now, luckily for him, he ended up somehow meeting a woman and starting a relationship with her.
Did he meet her in a tree?
He might have met her in a tree. I don't think so.
He was like, you?
Oh my goodness.
You as well?
Girl, they just swung to each other.
I never ran into anybody on this elk before.
No, but
elk is
this
not a tree. See, clearly not climbing.
An elk. On this animal before. Now, he got a job at a tree trimming service. So he's really just leaning into it. This service was called Fast Eddie's Tree Trimming. And he ended up making a little money. He was doing well. He got a small home for himself.
Should have paid off the rest of that $2 million.
Things were looking up. And eventually his girlfriend and her son, who I think was 8 years old at the time, moved in with him.
What the actual fuck?
Yeah. So they had 2 dogs. Seemed to be the American dream. Everything was going fine.
This is so weird.
Now, let me tell you, right now, his neighbors said they really liked him. He was a nice guy. Their kids and his girlfriend's kids would play together. Like, they would let their kids go over to his house and play outside. Like, he was a very normal human being. Seemed like when he was first in this relationship, he was settled. And that part of his personality came out where he was like a bird. They said he was quiet, but not like unnervingly quiet, not rude.
Yeah.
As was well established, he was a very outdoorsy guy. So he still loved trees, and he was teaching kids in the neighborhood.
Still out here with these trees.
Still loving on those trees. And at this point, he was using it in like a positive way.
Okay.
Because he was teaching kids in the neighborhood how to climb them and teaching them like the different types. And like he would be there to spot them and like kind of just like showing them leaves and showing them like how to name different ones. Like he was being like a nature guide kind of thing.
Interesting.
And he seemed to love the squirrels. Not in like not in a gross way, not in a weird way, but like a little weird. He just liked squirrels. So he would like feed squirrels.
People have pet squirrels.
Kids would be psyched to like be there when he was feeding the squirrels. So like everything seemed like it was like, okay, maybe he's turned it around. Maybe he spent the time in prison. He did that shit.
Yeah, he's gonna now learned just be like a weird, eccentric neighbor,
nature guide
dude.
Which, gosh, I wish he did.
I know.
Now it was towards the summer of like 2010 that things suddenly started turning the other way,
as they do.
Because remember, as we have well established, Matthew Hoffman is not great at staying in one spot for a long time, at doing the same thing for a long time, at being responsible for a long time. He gets bored. He gets that urge to be reckless. It's about that time. So neighbors said he suddenly became really grumpy and really off-putting. Like he all of a sudden was just like, and one day his 2 dogs just disappeared. With no explanation. One neighbor actually said, quote, "I believe in my heart he killed those dogs. No. He started pulling back and acting strange. I don't know what set him off. He was just getting more and more weird."
Oh, no.
Now, suddenly he began acting more like a survivalist for like no reason at all. He was catching the squirrels now and killing them to eat.
See, I just think that's a really bad plan if you're a survivalist, because lots of times squirrels have rabies.
That's How to Survive in the Wild with Ash.
Thank you for tuning in this week.
Thank you.
We'll be back with another hot tip. Probably never.
Probably never.
Probably. You can catch us again. Never. I literally have a shirt that says Indoorsy. But I know enough to know that you don't eat squirrels.
Yeah, he was.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe there's
people
a way
eat
of
squirrels.
Out. No, I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah, people eat squirrels, but I don't. But like people do. But he was eating squirrels all of a sudden, and the thing was like, he liked these squirrels. Like he was like broing out with these squirrels for a while. So like, why are you suddenly killing them and eating them? Like, and he would like, some people, his ex-girlfriend said that he would barbecue them.
Is that when she left?
No. So
I can't imagine coming home to a couple of squirrels on the bobby.
I think this is definitely when she started being like, I don't know about this.
Yeah.
Because she said he just suddenly turned. Like, he wasn't like this before. And now that shit is getting weird, even the neighbors who knew them as like a little like pseudo family were noticing that like her behavior was starting to turn. Like she was getting like really depressed and quiet and was like not really speaking about it a lot. And like they were like, what is going on? They could tell something was really awry in this relationship. Like it had turned sour.
Well, and she's in like such a weird spot too, because her child lives here and she lives here, and it's like she's probably wondering, do I have to find a new place for me and my kid to live because this guy is going off the rails?
Exactly. Now in that fall, she finally did break things off.
Yeah.
She said it was just his erratic mood changes and his really strange behavior was just, she was, like you said, she had a son.
Yeah.
And she was like, he doesn't need to be around this. You need to be by yourself or you need to figure your stuff out. But she came back October 24th just to pick up some of the remaining things she had left in the house.
Oh, it's always such a fucking long process.
And that's a very dangerous time when you come back to get the stuff. And shit got wild.
Oh.
Now, in the police report, she said, quote, we were in his living room talking and he got upset and pushed me against a wall. He had his forearm up against my neck and was choking me.
Oh my God.
I got loose, but he grabbed me again and we tumbled over a chair to the floor. I was fighting to try and get him off me, but he choked me on the ground. She said she was scared of him and thought that he was going to kill her.
Yeah.
She wanted to get out of, she was like, I just want him out of my life for good. So she did file a police report, but she never pressed charges.
Oh.
Which everyone has their own reasons for doing that.
Yeah,
kind of
absolutely.
Thing. And she really was like, I just wanted to get away with my son and just get him out of my life for good.
I totally
didn't want anything else to do with him. I made the police report. That's the end of that.
Yeah, and you know, when you press charges, it's like sometimes these things go to trial, it gets expensive.
Yeah.
Like there's so many reasons why like people don't always press charges.
Obviously now you can say back like you wish that charges were pressed, but like you got to understand that it's like I could never imagine being in that situation.
Oh, it's a harrowing experience.
And with your child.
Right.
Now, he had got that job at Fast Eddie's tree trimming service. And at first, like I said before, everyone there thought he was great. It was during that time where everyone was like, wow, what a normal dude.
He was on the up and
Just
up.
loves trees. But then after a while, during this whole period, the demeanor started changing at work as well. He wasn't able to hold it together in both spots. And he was changing completely. And he suddenly became strange and really creepy to people. People were like, he just gave off a vibe suddenly. And people at work were becoming very wary of him. And he was now actually just hanging out in trees for hours and hours.
Oh.
So, like, I know I've said it before that, like, he really likes trees. That's, like, part of his whole pathology here. But now, and, like, he liked climbing them before. He liked being in them. He liked being around them. But it was, like, somewhat on a normal, just, like, wow, he really likes trees level. Now he's just sitting up in trees in his yard for hours. His neighbors said that he would just sit there and also watch them, like, sit from his vantage points and, like, see people. And he would just do it forever.
Like, what do you do to stop somebody from doing that too? Because that feels like a weird fucking experience.
A weird violation of
like,
something.
That feels like I want to call the police on you, but what do I say you're doing?
But I don't even know what to say. Like this.
Hey, my neighbor's watching me from his tree again. Can you stop him?
So imagine a grown man who is your weird neighbor just sitting in a tree for hours and hours, just touching leaves, staring at everybody.
Like staring at you.
He would fall asleep up there sometimes. He would eat up there. He would just hang up there. If that was all he did, it would be strange, but somewhat harmless because you're just like, you're being kind of voyeuristic, which that should be taken away.
Right.
But like if you just want to hang out in a tree somewhere and not look at anybody else like that, we can't stop you from doing that.
Yeah, if
like,
you just want to vibe in your tree, go off. But like, don't stare at me while doing so.
But don't look at people's houses. And also, what?
You're going to have me like paranoid of like the trees.
Just look for trees, man.
I'm going to be like driving and looking at the treetops. Like, you in there?
And unfortunately, that's not all he did, was just sit in trees for hours. Because again, if he wasn't hurting anybody else and he wasn't like voyeuristically looking at anybody else, sit in a tree for hours. Do what you want to do.
What else? What is he doing?
But that's not all he did.
What did he do?
So at his job, you know, his boss suddenly found out, like, because people are starting to look into him now because they're like, you're acting weird. So his boss was already like, ugh. He turned weird, and this is strange, and I don't know what happened.
Yeah.
Then the boss found out that he actually lied about his experience as a tree trimmer to get the job. And he had also not disclosed that he had been in prison for that whole
arson,
stealing Welcome to Steamboat Springs signs and lighting a condo on fire with 16 people in it.
After spending many a days in somebody else's condo.
So he was fired from his tree trimming job.
Uh-oh, but then that is going to set off a motherfucking... I don't even know.
Avalanche of anger.
Correct.
And
beautiful.
Right?
Beautifully put. Spoken like a true author.
There you go.
She wrote a book.
She wrote a book.
Buy it.
Now he's down a job and he's starting to really spiral. He's down a job. He lost his girlfriend.
I was just going to say.
He's spiraling. And then his electricity was shut off because he didn't have any money to pay for it.
It doesn't sound like he's using it a lot anyways.
Well, he was like a computer guy too. So I think now that's shut off.
He's taking that as like a personal hit.
And there's just nothing to distract him. He's just got trees and his anger. So now he's breaking into homes for fun like he did before.
Oh, I hate it.
He starts doing it again.
God, I hate it so much. Whenever we talk about people breaking into homes, I have nightmares for home invasions.
And he's doing it just to like steal things, but also just for the thrill of it. Because again, he's in that whole vibe where he needs that thrill.
Paul Hull says it always escalates with these home invasion people.
Exactly. He also says pillow.
He does say pillow.
But that's, yeah. And I agree with him that not about pillow, but about the fact that these always escalate into something else if they are not caught.
Right.
Now, November 2010 is when he found a home that he zeroed in on and decided to watch to make his next target. So he sat across the street from that home on King Beach Drive in Apple Valley, the home of Tina Hermann. There was that big stretch of woods where he could camp out across from it, which he did. And he watched that house, the comings and goings. And November 9th at 1 a.m., he made his move.
Ugh.
He parked a mile away from the house and he walked through the woods to get there. In the middle of the night, he brought with him a sleeping bag and he camped out one final time across the street from the house in the woods.
It's so creepy.
So there in his fucking sleeping bag, he watches as the kids go to school. He watches as Tina goes to the grocery store. She left the house to go to the grocery store and get gas. And as she went to the grocery store, he entered the house. Mm-hmm. Now, she returned home for like around noon, I think, from the grocery store and the gas run. As soon as she entered the home and walked to the kitchen, Matthew Hoffman jumped out and attacked her.
Oh, God.
He dragged her to the bedroom and hit her in the head and stabbed her with a hunting knife he had brought with him.
That's what tells me that he did not go just to rob this house. Why do you have a hunting knife?
He claimed that he was only planning to rob this home, but like Ash just said, and I just wrote in my notes, why the fuck did he bring a hunting knife?
Right.
He claimed he waited for everyone to leave the home so he could rob it in peace and then leave undetected. But he brought a large, serrated hunting knife with him. No. Now, what he said about this was, quote, "I confronted her and made her get onto the bed lying face down. I believe that we were in their bedroom. I had a blackjack. I was going to try and knock her out. I hit her a couple of times in the head, but this would not knock her out. It was not doing the job, and I started panicking." And that's when he started stabbing her. So while this was happening and Tina is being brutally beaten and stabbed in her bedroom, Stephanie Sprang entered the home because she and Tina had plans to look at apartments together that day.
That's the other, like, just horrible part about this case.
Wrong place, wrong time.
Wrong place, wrong time. Not only that, but the fact that they weren't even going to be staying in this house much longer.
No, they were going to be leaving. And she found them, came upon them, and immediately tried to help, but was overpowered by Hoffman and chased into another room. She went into Sarah's bedroom, where she was killed. Hoffman stabbed her twice viciously in the chest and then continued to stab her long after she was dead.
Oh, my
Blood
God.
was everywhere. Later, he said of this, quote, "I grabbed the knife that I had put down on the nightstand and stabbed the woman on the bed through her back twice. I chased the other woman down and stabbed her a couple of times in the chest." Then he went back to Tina and stabbed her more and more and more.
So he's clearly enjoying this.
He stabbed her long after she was dead too, and also tore her abdomen open with the knife.
Oh, my.
He then dragged Tina into the bathtub and used his hunting knife to dismember her. He said he had to pull her joints apart because he didn't have anything to cut through bone with.
Oh, my God.
He put the parts of her into trash bags. Meanwhile, and this is an animal thing, so quick trigger.
Oh, no.
Give you a second. The family dog was going nuts.
No.
He said he knew someone would hear it and become suspicious or even call the police, so he killed the dog and dismembered it as well. He did the same thing to Stephanie Sprang. What I don't understand is why he didn't just let the dog out.
Yeah, just let the dog
Just let the dog run
outside.
away.
I mean, I don't understand this whole fucking thing, but...
He said, quote, "I took the bodies into the bathroom and began processing the bodies to dispose of them. I used garbage bags from within the house and placed the bodies within."
You know what, too? That totally tells me that his dogs didn't just disappear, because
he
there's
killed
no
them.
way you
can't
can
kill
do
it.
that.
Yeah.
That, like, without
killed your
thought like
dogs.
that.
He then poured motor oil over the huge blood drag marks because it would like dilute it, and spatters that were everywhere. He was putting the motor oil on it. And then he was planning to burn the home down, and he figured the motor oil would stop them from seeing how much blood was there.
Huh.
What he didn't count on is Sarah and Kody coming home from school. When they arrived, there was blood in the entryway, and they immediately were concerned. They called for their mom, both of them, and Hoffman
babies.
came charging at them out of nowhere. Sarah said he literally charged out of nowhere at them. He tackled Kody as he tried to flee out the front door. Sarah was able to run to her room and try to get her phone out of her bag to dial 911. Before running to stop Sarah, Hoffman instinctively stabbed Kody in the back of the head as he tried to run out of the
God.
door. He was dead immediately, and he stabbed him a couple more times when he fell. Now quickly about Kody, because like we should know. I said before that these were like super kind kids. He loved baseball. He loved anything athletic. He was a goofball. And his father, Larry, said, quote, "You know how kids can be pretty mean at times, excluding others from their group? Unpopular kids are kind of pushed to the side. But when Kody saw that kind of thing, he would go out of his way to include those kinds of kids, and he wouldn't allow any bullying around him." So then Hoffman ran straight for Sarah into her room. She had been trying to get her phone free to call 911, but he got her before she could dial. She said he went to stab her and then just stopped, and instead cut the cord from the fan in her room and tied her hands with it.
What the fuck?
And then he told her he would kill her if she made a sound. He later said he didn't know why he didn't just kill her too. And he said he just couldn't bring himself to do it. That's what he said.
That doesn't make any sense to me, though, because you just killed, what, an 11-year-old?
It makes perfect sense. He went in there to get that girl.
Yeah, well, that's exactly it.
That's what makes sense.
That's
Him
what I
saying I
mean.
couldn't bring myself to kill her. Of course you couldn't. That was your whole plan.
Exactly.
Your whole plan was to kill everyone around her and take her.
Right. That's why that statement
Like,
doesn't make sense.
good
'Cause I'm
try.
like, no, you killed everybody else.
But
like,
he loves to pretend that was not his intention at all. I just, and by the way, he's a rapist. So that just happened. Like, I don't know.
Right.
No, this
No.
was your intent all along. Your intent was to wait in that fucking house. Maybe you planned on stealing some shit. I'm sure you did. But you planned on killing anyone that got in your way, and you were going to get that girl.
Right. And there's no thing in his past about like
Rape or sexual assault.
or being like a pedophile, because
No.
she's 13.
No.
That's so
Nothing
weird.
that I could find, and nothing like in
Right.
reports or anything.
But, like, he was around
He didn't have a
children.
criminal record before that condo thing.
So
Yeah.
strange. Because
I
I
know.
agree with you. I think that's why he went in this house.
I think that's why you went in here.
because it just makes sense. Like
Yeah.
his story, other than like his story that he tells, doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it
for
really
what
doesn't.
happened here.
He was and he went right into like dismembering bodies.
Right.
When we find out later where he put them, which I'll tell you later, that was very much planned out.
Right.
He had very much planned out that he needed the bodies in parts and in bags to be able to do what he did later. I know it. There's no way his story is bullshit. But he didn't kill Sarah, and he just tied her up with that electrical cord. He said he was planning to burn the house down. He could have gotten rid of that evidence, but he said, suddenly, I just had this urge to keep her alive. That was his whole thing. So he gagged her. He put a pillowcase over her head and then brought her down to the basement. He then took the rope from an old sled in their basement and tied her legs together. She said, quote, he was really angry. His voice was like a yell almost. He was telling me what to do. It was like when someone yells at you and it's a command, which is so scary. Mm-hmm. He then brought her upstairs and threw her on the kitchen floor and left her there while he cleaned up the scene. So she's just lying there, gagged, bound, and terrified while this guy mills around her home. He was dismembering the rest of the bodies and cleaning up the evidence.
Like, I hope nobody ever has to feel the fear that must have been coursing through that little girl's veins.
And she couldn't move, couldn't get out. Nobody's around to hear her. And then he threw her into Stephanie's Jeep with a ton of trash bags and blindfolded her. She had no idea she was sitting next to the dismembered bodies of her mom, brother, dog, and mom's best friend. Yeah. So he drove her a while and it was dark out. She said he told her once they parked somewhere, he told her, stay still, do not move. And he said, I'm going to be watching you. And then he left the vehicle. So she decided to take a peek because she was like, fuck you, dude. I need to know where I am. So she looked under the blindfold. She was able to like maneuver, and they were at a baseball field and it was dark. And he said he came back suddenly as soon as she looked and was yelling at her, I told you I was going to be watching you. Like, so he really was. Fuck. And he said, if you try to look again, I'm going to kill you. And then he tightened her blindfold. And she said she had seen the trash bags when she had lifted her blindfold, but she had no idea what they were.
Of course not.
Of course. Oh, so he left her in that car again for over an hour. And what he was doing was walking to where he had left his car the night before, which was a Toyota Yaris. And he had left it to walk to that patch of woods across the street from their home.
Right.
So it was a long walk to go back there.
Yeah.
And he drove the Yaris back to the stolen Jeep and then transferred Sarah into his Yaris. Oh. Now, he drove her to his home and carried her into a bathroom. He then took the blindfold off her and she saw a strange sight. The walls were white, but in this particular room that she was in, there were drawings all over them in black ink. There were animals and people, like weird deformed people, and like yin and yang symbols and peace symbols, and all of it was just like trippy looking and like scribbled on there. And like, I guess this is according to the book that I read about this case, which let me tell you what it is, because it is like, this book is so extensive and it's so well done and it's long. You'll get everything you need out of this book. Let me tell you what it is.
Beep, beep, boop, bop,
it is called The Girl in the Leaves by Robert Scott. And I'm telling you, of course, I will link it like we always do. This book is amazing. And in that book, he says that there was one, like the faucet had a drawing around it that made it look like a guy with like the faucet was coming out of his mouth.
What the fuck?
Which is just like so trippy and scary. And like, can you imagine that's what you see after you've just been kidnapped?
No.
Like,
that must have like added
that.
To her anxiety.
So much anxiety. And then he duct taped her and tied her with a rope in the bathroom. Told her that he would be back, but he said, I have people watching the house, so if you try anything, you'll die. And he had already proven the last time, when I say I'm watching you, so
right.
She's not going to move. He then went back to the stolen Jeep and got the trash bags filled with dismembered human remains. He then stopped at a Walmart where he is on CCTV footage walking around very casually, and this is in the middle of the night, by the way, bought a blue tarp and more garbage bags, and he also bought a turkey sandwich and a $1 Halloween shirt.
Oh. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Very casual, too, on that. You watch that CCTV footage knowing what he has just spent hours doing.
And he's
that
just
there is
strolling.
A 13-year-old girl duct taped in his bathroom at home.
And people dismembered in his car in the Walmart parking lot.
And he's just walking by people, just no big deal. So he now...
I like things my way. My coffee, my schedule, and my treatment. So I talked to my doctor about self-injecting with the Vyvgart Hytrulo pre-filled syringe, which contains F-gartigimod alpha and hyaluronidase QVFC. It's injected under your skin, subcutaneously. It means I can inject in my space, on my time. It's my treatment, my way. Visit VivGuardMyWay.com. That's VYVGART MyWay.com. And talk to your doctor about VivGuard Hytrulo. Brought to you by Argenix.
OmniWatch protects way more than just your passwords and logins. We protect what matters most. You, your family, and the life you live online. From scam alerts to dark web monitoring, OmniWatch has you covered around the clock. Real experts are just a call away. And with plans up to $4 million in identity theft insurance, you get total peace of mind. So whether you're Garden Gal 54 or Dad Bod 23, OmniWatch helps you browse, shop, and connect with confidence. Go to OmniWatch.com to get protected today.
Disposes of the bags with Kody, Tina, Stephanie, and the dog's bodies. I'm going to tell you where he disposed of them in part 2 because that at this point was not known. So I just want to tell you that later. And he then drove the Jeep back to Tina Hermann's home and left the tarp and garbage bags in the garage, then got into the pickup truck that was in the garage and planned to drive it to take to the gas station to get gas to then burn the home down.
So this was their pickup truck?
Yeah, he just stole it out of the garage. But the truck kept stalling, so he had to abandon it somewhere and walk to his Yaris again. Now, this is the point where the lights were off initially. No one was in the driveway.
Right.
The cops saw that. Nothing's going on. Then when he comes back, suddenly the car's back in the driveway.
Lights are
That's because
on.
he came back. So the truck kept stalling, so he had to abandon it somewhere. He walked to his Yaris again. He was a fucking mess. Like I believe he had a plan, but I believe what happened is he had no idea that Stephanie Sprang was going to walk into that house.
And it threw him off.
Stephanie Sprang, I think, was the thing that threw off his plan. Other than that, I think he was going to kill Tina. He was going to dismember her. He was going to put her in a trash bag. He was going to wait for those kids to come home, and he was going to kill Kody. Mm-hmm. And then he was going to take Sarah, and it would burn the house down. The end.
Right.
But I think another adult walking in unexpectedly while he was in the middle of everything threw him so far off kilter.
Right.
And then everything just became, because now there's an extra car that you have to get rid of. There's this, there's that. There was another whole person that you're going to have to now figure out what to do with. Mm-hmm. I think it threw him totally off kilter in this because he's just a fucking wreck.
Yeah.
Like, truly. So now instead of going back to the crime scene like he originally was going to burn the place down,
right,
he just goes home because he's exhausted. And he said he was just like, he went home to Sarah, who's still tied up in his fucking trippy bathroom. Meanwhile, Sarah had been trying to come up with a plan. Mm-hmm. And she realized the really only thing she could do here was comply and try to appeal to something inside of him.
Right.
And she was like, he stopped before he killed me.
So clearly there's
maybe
something.
I can appeal to something here. And he was bigger and stronger than her, and she needed to get out of there without a physical altercation because she was like, that wasn't going to work.
She also thinks that people are watching this house.
Yeah.
She doesn't know if it's just him involved.
Of course. So when he came home, she decided to just talk to him.
Okay.
She asked him questions.
What a brave little girl.
Because I wouldn't even be able to get words out.
No.
She asked him what he did for a living. She was so fucking strong and smart about this. I'm in awe. And he answered and talked to her, but would also kind of shut down a little bit and get cold at times. But after a while, he decided they were moving from the bathroom and he wasn't going to blindfold her anymore.
Mm-hmm. Which makes me nervous.
He took her out of the room after hours and hours, and she saw his home for the first time. There were leaves everywhere. You heard that. There were leaves. Leaves from trees. Yeah. Crunch, crunch, leaves. Covering the floors and stacked up in bags along every single wall. The walls were literally leaves.
What the fuck?
Floor to ceiling leaves in every room except for like one tiny bathroom. And she was like, what the fuck is with the leaves, bro? Like, she was like, what is this?
Right.
Because she was like, my immediate thing was like, oh, I'm going to ask you about this. That's for sure.
She was like, your bathroom is something, but guy, we got to talk about this.
So she was like, what's with all the leaves? And he was like, oh, I use them for insulation.
I don't know about
Honey,
that.
what?
I feel like you use them for really gross things.
She was like, I let that go. Like, I'm not even going to ask any further.
Need
like,
to know more.
Sure. And then he said that he had not killed her brother and mother and that he had let the dog out of the house. So he's just an asshole. He's a lying sack of shit. He then told her that he would feed. He was like, "Are you hungry?" And she was like, "I'm actually very hungry." And she was like, "Do you want some squirrel? I have some in the freezer." And she was like, "I'm not that hungry." Like, no. And she literally told him, like, "No, I'm not eating a squirrel." And when she was like, "No," he was like, "All right, I have cereal." So he gave her cereal with sour milk.
Ew, what the fuck?
Yeah, and she said she ate it because she didn't know when she was going to be able to eat again.
Oh, my God.
He then tied her to him and took a nap because he was exhausted and tied her to him.
Ew.
And that is where we are going to end for part one, because it gets caught pretty quick. So don't worry, he's going to be taken downtown, but it's wild.
Yeah.
It's wild, and it gets rough. And this guy is, I don't know what his thing is for trees could be called, but it's something.
Fucking weird, dude.
It's really something. And he's a really scary individual. And I am so glad that he is never going to be able to walk outside again.
All right. Well, I'm excited for part 2. Hope that you are as well. And, sorry, I just cracked my knuckles. But we hope that you keep listening.
And we hope you keep it weird.
But I don't even, I'm so stressed out right now, but not so weird that, you do all the things that Matthew Hoffman did, like break into somebody's condo, find out what makes a Subaru, just leaves, murder.
None of it.
Stop.
None of it. If you want to climb a tree, climb a tree. Leave it at that.
Yeah.
Leave it at that. Nature is great, but not that great.
Just climb one tree and then go home. Ugh.
What if upgrading your windows and doors didn't mean tightening your budget? Scratch that. What if it meant spending nothing today? For a limited time, Renewal by Andersen is offering no money down, no monthly payments, and no interest for 18 months on a minimum of 6. That means beautiful, energy-efficient windows and doors while the payments wait. Visit renewalbyandersenhome.com today and see how easy it is to buy now and pay later.
I like things my way. My coffee, my schedule, and my treatment. So I talked to my doctor about self-injecting with the VivGuard Hytrulo prefilled syringe, which contains F-gartigimod alpha and hyaluronidase QVFC. It's injected under your skin, subcutaneously. It means I can inject in my space, on my time. It's my treatment, my way. Visit VivGuardMyWay.com. That's VYVGART myway.com. And talk to your doctor about VivGuard Hytrulo, brought to you by argenx.